For decades, Canada and the United States shared more than just a border. They shared family ties, winter escapes, business ventures, and millions of unforgettable road trips. But in 2025, something has shifted. A quiet, powerful shift that's already rippling through local economies and shaking up entire communities. Thousands of Canadians are no longer heading south. It's not just talk, the numbers are clear. Last year, Canadian tourists injected over $20 billion into the U.S. economy. But this year, road crossings have dropped by over 32%, with nearly 900,000 fewer trips in a single month. Air travel from Canada has plunged over 70%. The American states that once thrived on Canadian tourism are already feeling the strain. Why is this happening, and which places are being hit the hardest? Let's uncover the 7 states facing the biggest impact from this unexpected tourism drop and explore what it really means for cross-border ties. Florida has always been the quintessential winter escape for Canadians. Every year, snowbirds fled freezing temperatures in exchange for the sunny shores of Miami, the thrill of Orlando's theme parks, and the relaxation of golf courses in Tampa. In 2024, nearly 4 million Canadians visited the state, contributing an estimated $6 billion to Florida's tourism economy. From hotels to restaurants to real estate, Canadians weren't just visitors. They were part of the rhythm of Florida's winter economy. But in 2025, that rhythm has faltered. Cross-border trips are down more than 30%, and flight bookings from Canada to U.S. destinations, especially Florida, have cratered by over 70%. Along the coasts, hotel managers are reporting unexpected vacancies during peak season. Golf resorts that once had Canadian members waitlisted now offer deep discounts just to keep the greens busy. Real estate brokers, who for years counted on Canadian retirees investing in vacation homes, are experiencing a noticeable decline in demand in snowbird hotspots. Tourism fuels over 1.6 million jobs in Florida. And while a 10 or 20% drop might sound small, economists warn that sustained losses at this scale could jeopardize tens of thousands of livelihoods. One tourism executive said it plainly, "Losing Canadian travelers doesn't just affect hotels or theme parks, it shakes the entire economy." For Florida, 2025 isn't just a quiet year. It's a wake-up call that its most loyal visitors are drifting away. Few places are more closely intertwined with Canada than New York State. Cities like Buffalo and Niagara Falls relied for decades on the weekend surge of Canadian visitors crossing the bridges to shop, dine, and explore. For countless local businesses, Canadians weren't occasional tourists. They were part of the fabric of daily life. But this year, that fabric is fraying. Border crossings in some regions are down more than 23%. Retail outlets once buzzing with weekend crowds from Ontario now see emptier parking lots and shorter lines. Even the iconic sites of Niagara Falls are seeing thinner foot traffic than expected. Hotels and restaurants near the border have reported sales slumps they haven't experienced in over a decade. New York City, too, is feeling the loss. Canadian visitors previously accounted for roughly $600 million annually in tourism spending in the city, from Broadway tickets to upscale shopping. Experts are now warning that a 10% drop in Canadian tourism could cost the U.S. economy over $2 billion and 14,000 jobs, with New York among the hardest hit. One local tour operator shared their struggle. "We lost more than 60% of our Canadian clients. I've never seen this kind of drop-off before." Beyond businesses, the financial impact touches local governments. With reduced tourist spending, tax revenues decline, public services tighten, and community programs get cut. As Canadians stay home, New York's border towns, and even its global city, are left wondering what comes next. Las Vegas has always been one of the most magnetic destinations for Canadians. It's not just a city, it's a symbol of freedom, escape, and unforgettable experiences. In 2024, over 1.5 million Canadians visited Las Vegas, making Canada one of the city's most important international markets. Their spending rippled from casino floors and resort suites to theaters, shopping districts, and gourmet restaurants. But 2025 tells a different story. Flight bookings from Canada to Las Vegas have dropped dramatically, leading some airlines to reduce or suspend direct routes. Hotels and resorts that once thrived during the off-season thanks to Canadian travelers are now seeing unsold rooms and lower occupancy rates. Tourism makes up nearly 1/3 of all jobs in Nevada, many of them dependent on a steady influx of international guests. Even a modest slowdown means cut shifts, lower tips, and thinner margins. Restaurant owners, taxi drivers, entertainment staff, all are beginning to feel the change. "We built this city for visitors," one resort executive remarked. "When they stop coming, the whole city feels it." And the decline doesn't end in Las Vegas. Smaller tourism hubs across Nevada, from ski resorts to desert getaways, are also reporting a softer season. The bright lights are still on, but they shine a little less brightly in 2025. California has long been a dream destination for Canadians. With its golden beaches, iconic cities, and that unique blend of culture and nature, it really attracted everyone, from luxury shoppers to adventurous road trippers. At one point, Canadians made up nearly 15% of all international visitors to the state, pouring billions into the economy. Now, retailers in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica are starting to notice, fewer big-ticket purchases. High-end boutiques that once depended on Canadian clientele are adjusting their forecasts. Coastal hotels are reporting slower booking rates, especially in places like San Diego and Monterey, where Canadians used to arrive in droves during school holidays and long weekends. Even Disneyland and Universal Studios, those staples of the Canadian family vacation, are seeing fewer guests crossing the border. And that really matters because tourism is one of California's biggest employers, supporting over 1 million jobs. One Los Angeles shop owner put it best: "We used to plan our inventory around Canadian shopping habits. This year something's off, something's missing. If this trend continues, it could ripple across all sorts of sectors, from service jobs and real estate to seasonal employment in entertainment and hospitality." Arizona has always been a second home for tens of thousands of Canadians. They came not just to escape the snow, but to join these thriving communities of fellow snowbirds. Golf tournaments, art festivals, and community potlucks gave the desert a distinctly northern accent every winter. In 2024, Canadian seasonal visitors were a major engine of Arizona's local economy, investing heavily in both tourism and real estate. But this year, desert communities from Phoenix to Tucson feel, strangely still. Golf courses are open, but tee times just aren't filling up like they used to. Rental listings sit vacant longer. Community centers, which once buzzed with activity, are reporting fewer memberships and sign-ups. Real estate agents, who once saw consistent demand from Canadian retirees, are now seeing hesitation, sometimes even cancellations. And beyond vacations, there's a bigger picture: healthcare clinics, grocery stores, and service workers who once catered to those seasonal populations are all feeling the downturn. Michigan's connection to Canada runs deep. Cities like Detroit, Port Huron, and Sault Ste. Marie thrived for decades on easy, frequent crossings that brought Canadian families, sports fans, and weekend shoppers south. The shared Great Lakes made the border feel less like a line and more like a link. In 2024 alone, Canadian vehicles accounted for over 3.6 million entries into the state, nearly 28% of all U.S. border crossings. But in 2025, that traffic is slowing, and fast. The steady hum of cross-border commerce has faded into uneasy quiet. Stores near the Blue Water Bridge are seeing fewer walk-ins. Pharmacies that once stocked up on items popular with Canadian customers are cutting back. Events that once welcomed packed crowds from Ontario, from summer music festivals to NHL games in Detroit, are facing shrinking attendance. Even small, family-run businesses are hurting. One shop owner in Port Huron said, "We built our whole model around Canadian customers. Without them, survival isn't guaranteed." Hotels that once counted on weekend stays now have empty rooms. Restaurants near the border are running shorter shifts. Staff that once relied on busy Saturdays are facing cut hours. And it's not just about tourism. Michigan's border economy was a cultural rhythm. Day trips to shop for cheaper goods, fill up on gas, or enjoy a Tigers game were traditions passed down through generations. Now, that rhythm is breaking. In Washington state, towns like Blaine, Linden, and Bellingham used to come alive every weekend with the sound of Canadian voices. Residents from nearby British Columbia came south for everything: groceries, gas, shopping, and even weekend getaways. For decades, this cross-border flow kept restaurants buzzing, outlet malls busy, and small businesses thriving. In 2024, Blaine alone accounted for nearly a quarter of the state's 3.2 million Canadian vehicle entries, an astonishing volume for a town of its size. But in 2025, those streets feel emptier than they have in years. Local gas stations, once packed with Canadian license plates, report sales drops of up to 40%. Grocers that used to stock bulk goods in anticipation of Canadian demand are cutting orders. Outlet centers, once designed with the northern shoppers in mind, are now eerily quiet. Even community events are shrinking. Farmers markets and seasonal festivals, long boosted by cross-border attendance, are seeing record-low turnouts. And when those events falter, so do the vendors, musicians, and food trucks that depend on them. For towns like Blaine, the Canadian connection wasn't just economic, it was personal. Many residents have friends, relatives, or business ties just a short drive away in British Columbia. One longtime resident put it simply, it's like losing half your family overnight. And the fear goes beyond a bad quarter or a slow season. In small towns where businesses operate on razor-thin margins, even a 30% decline in cross-border traffic isn't just inconvenient, it's existential. Community leaders are now holding emergency forums, exploring marketing campaigns, and lobbying for binational tourism support. But the question lingers, will it be enough? As Washington's northern towns brace for the future, one truth becomes clear. When cross-border life fades, entire communities begin to blur and unravel along with it. From Florida's beaches to Washington's small towns, the drop in Canadian visitors is more than a travel trend. It's a transformation, one that affects communities, livelihoods, and the very fabric of border life. Will the bond between Canada and the U.S. recover? Or is this the beginning of a lasting divide? We want to hear from you. Are you seeing quieter streets? Fewer familiar faces? Share your story in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth insights.